know how I always say to get to these places as early as possible? And we're not even inside yet. Like, this is just to get in the place. Once you get in, it's even more crazy. So we just left the mausoleum where the body of Ho Chi Minh is still lying there. So for the time I started in the line, for the time I finished, it took a little less than an hour, which actually isn't too bad considering how long it was. But again, you're just going through, there's only one room, and where you see the body, that's it. So it's a long line, but it does move decently fast. Oh, and by the way, there's a security checkpoint where, like, they tell you, hey, if you have a bag, put your phones in the bag. And they are pretty strict about, like, phones, cameras, even selfie sticks. I had a very interesting conversation with a security guard yesterday about the selfie stick I usually use. It wasn't even open anyway, so there was no point. But just be prepared. Oh, also, by the way, even if you're coming during the hot months, they have a dress code as well. So like no kind of tank tops or shorts that come above the knee. So usually a lot of these restrictions are posted online where you try to get information. So if you are coming over here, just make sure you are properly prepared. Everything from like what you have with you to what you're wearing. They are very, very strict about this. Again, this is the mausoleum of one of their most famed leaders in the country, and they will like uphold this area with like the utmost respect. So if you are coming here, just understand that, and you're not going to have too many problems. So it looks like I stumbled into the entrance of the presidential palace. I don't know too much about it, obviously, other than the fact that it's the presidential palace. I didn't even plan on being over here. Legitimately, I just walked out of the mausoleum, like from the exit into this area, instead of just going out. So we're just gonna check out and see what's here. So I'm in the second floor of the Ho Chi Minh Museum, and a lot of what I'm seeing right now is one of the only, if not the only museum I've been to that doesn't have the subtitles in English. And you know what? I respect that, honestly. Okay, never mind. Here are some of the subtitles. Okay. Woo. Oh, that was gonna be rough. Right now I'm currently on Train Street. It is about 2:45. The next train is supposed to come through at about 3:20. So the key thing here is this is one of those touristy things that everyone does, which is fun. I know I missed out on it last time, and I said, you know what? Since I'm back, let me actually go ahead and do this. So here's something you need to know. So around the time the train comes, there'll be a lot of people kind of standing outside the entrances to the rail, and they'll try to basically get you into their coffee shop. And I don't know the prices there or whatever the case may be. So the way you can bypass that is you can get rail side seating just by like eating or drinking at one of the restaurants here. So the way I got through is I basically said, hey, I already have a seat at a restaurant, let me through. And they let me through, they didn't fight, plus whatever. So right now I'm walking through the French Quarter of Hanoi looking for some Bun Cha, but not just from any of the who knows how many Bun Cha restaurants you can find all across Hanoi, especially in the old and French quarters where if you're mostly a tourist where you're at. But one that was featured very prominently several years back, and we'll talk about it when we get there. So yes, we are at Bun Cha Huong Lien. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. So yes, this is that place where Anthony Bourdain and President Barack Obama came in that episode of Parts Unknown. And what's funny is when you walk inside, there's a bunch of pictures, usually the same ones, of Bourdain and Obama inside, very prominently featured, but outside there is no indication at all of that moment or that day or that episode of the show. It's one of those things where, like, if you know, you know. And it's not like some like big fancy like restaurant that sells Bun Cha. It's like a normal mom and pop neighborhood place that you find all over the city. So we're gonna try the Bun Cha here. I've become quite fond of Bun Cha during my last trip here. So hopefully the Bun Cha here is pretty good. Okay, so on the menu they have an item what's called the Combo Obama, which is simply Bun Cha, a fried seafood roll, and a Hanoi beer. It's funny, it's called the Combo Obama, but because really this is about as standard as a combination as you get when you go to any Bun Cha place. So you got the Bun Cha, you got a roll, you have a drink, like typically beer, especially in this part. So the fact that he gets it named after him, good job. Okay, not gonna lie, that was okay. Not the best Bun Cha I've had here in Hanoi, but you know, there are certain things you do for the experience and just to say that you did it. So when you go home, when people ask, "Oh, did you do this thing?" you can say, "Yes, I did." But yeah, from the quality of Bun Cha side, as I said, I've had better. But again, taste is subjective. You might come in and say, "This is the best Bun Cha you've ever had." For me, it was meh. And of course, you guys know I like to eat, so here's me going to a couple of Michelin guide rated places in Hanoi, including Tam V, which is the cheapest Michelin star restaurant in the world. This actually doesn't conclude my time in Hanoi. I have some more video, but none of it's really good enough to fit in this particular video. What you're seeing now is just a sneak peek of my trip to Ninh Binh, which will be featured in a video a little bit further down the road. So I'm just going to end this here, and I'll catch you guys a little bit later on.